The ritual card is in the creativity and growth category of the Oracle deck. And the reason for that is because rituals are acts of creation. They are acts of doing as well as ways of creating a new idea, a new metaphor, a new element of healing in our own lives. So I've got the stamp with the little plant on it on this particular card. And I think that one of the things that's so important about rituals is that they're at their root how we communicate our beliefs, needs, dreams, and ideas with our unconscious selves. So this is how we take messages from our conscious mind and make them something that we're embodying and teaching our unconscious mind. So often we receive messages from the unconscious via dreams and synchronicities and other forms of intuition, but we don't often get to tell the unconscious what it is we're working on consciously. And the concept of a ritual is to do exactly that. Because the unconscious is also the seat of what we all experience as the divine, rituals are also a sacred activity. It's one that should be separate from the routines of daily life. A ritual should be set apart and not something that is necessarily the day-to-day kind of idea. So, for example, your evening glass of wine is a routine, not a ritual. However, if you're going to place that wine on an altar as a sacrifice or pour it out on the ground to honor a departed friend, then we're talking about a ritual action. Something that is a little bit unusual, something that is a little bit more sacred and intended to converse with spirit, essentially. Rituals are actions. They're doing things. And so it's something we do with our bodies. It's often something we do in community, and they speak in a metaphorical language. So it's as if we're truly doing the thing. So if we're being called toward doing some sort of ritual when we draw this card, we might be being asked by our intuition to consciously do something to support our desires and our needs. So again, it's that creativity element where we're being asked to create something on our own behalf. So when I created this card, I used two different photographs, one of a goddess figurine. This was a figurine that's in the Michael C. Carlos Museum in Atlanta, as well as a series of doors that are at the Pecos National Monument in the ruins there. So the goddess figurine I included because this is a really powerful ritual to do for yourself, rather than kind of interpreting this as a rotund woman. Consider what it would be like if you were a person without a mirror, making a figurine of your own body from the top down without any sort of external information. This is probably a pregnant woman and a figurine that she would have made for herself. And it is likely that she made this figurine as a way of ensuring that she had a healthy and safe pregnancy and childbirth. Think about childbirth as one of the most dangerous times of a woman's life, especially in, Paleolithic times. And so she would want to have some sort of offering or some sort of spell in order to ensure that she had a safe and protected birth. The reason why I included the little door is because rituals are often to help get us through elements of liminality or to walk us through a form of liminality. So to get us from one side of the threshold over to the other. So I included the door as a way to speak to that threshold element and the kind of weird feeling we feel when we're between states. Often rituals are coming of age or a change in status or even things like a wedding where you've gone from being single to being a couple. And those changes require an element of going through a threshold. And so the ritual itself is how we guide ourselves through that threshold in a graceful way, And that is one of those things that rituals do quite well, is get us through portals in this way. So if we're talking about tarot cards that amplify or support this card's message, definitely the Magician. He is performing a ritual. He has all the tools to do a ritual. I would also say all of the King cards are ritual kind of cards because they're recommending that we do a thing. They're recommending that we take action, which is what ritual is actually telling us to do. You could also consider cards that are more around portals, like the Four of Wands, to potentially be supported by the ritual card as well. So if you draw the Four of Wands and you don't know if it is a finish line or an ending, or if it is a portal of some sort, and then the ritual is what you get as a clarifying card, then you know that it's some sort of portal or liminality or threshold that you need to go through. If you draw the ritual card upright, it's suggesting using actions to communicate with your unconscious so that you can get what you need. Spend time with what is sacred to you and really dig into what it means to create that ritual. If you draw the ritual card in reverse, then you might be going through the motions without the sacred, spiritual, or meaningful connection to what you're acting on. So this is where you might be doing something in a routine way without that extra spiritual element that is necessary to make it a ritual. You do need to check in with yourself on a deeper level if you get the ritual card reversed. To further amplify the ritual card, I really recommend viewing alchemical texts and their vivid, surreal symbols and kind of inferring what actions the alchemists were taking when they created these texts. Often these visual images of salamanders and dragons and suns and kings are actually metaphors for chemical processes that were going on in the alembic. However, it is possible that sometimes these are also internal processes that are going on when we think about them. In the text below, I'm going to include additional books for further reading, as well as additional recommendations. I do have a course on ritual theory that is also available if you're interested in that gets way further into the concepts of ritual than this card in and of itself allows. Thank you, and I hope that this is interesting and enjoyable to you as we explore each of these cards.